We're back here at the National Firearms Museum here at NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm with Logan Metesh. Logan, we started. Great new exhibit. So much great stuff going on here at NRA Firearms Museum. We started with America's Pistol Part 1, where we saw, contrary to its title, a whole history of pistols, of firearms going to America's Pistol, but they weren't American.
That's right. They weren't American.
They were going to America, one exec, one CEO, one inventor at a time,
exactly,
to show off their wares at Springfield Armory. So give us a quick recap where we were and where we're going.
Well, we started off overseas with some German designs, or the Borchardt, the Luger, the Mauser, and good guns. They're very popular in World War II, so we're going to see them again, but they're not America's Pistol, as we've said before. So now we come back to this side of the pond. We're going for the trials in 1911, and we get these guns that are going to go head-to-head in a true smackdown show-off.
So it was the 1911. Now, what years were this? Were actually trials went on for how long?
Yeah, there were trials in 1907 and 1910, but the big Mac Daddy trial comes March 15th, 1911.
Hence the title.
Hence the title. And so we have two guns that are going to head-to-head. We have the Savage and the Colt. And they come in, this is Savage serial number 4. That's the one that's going to get used in the trial. And Colt, serial number 5, that's going to get used in the trial.
So, you know, just a short lesson on manufacturing. You have to make tooling for all this kind of stuff. So how many of these would you actually produce for this trial? Approximately.
They brought over 200 of them for each one of these.
It's a pretty good run.
Yeah, pretty good run. And these were the ones that went head-to-head. These are on loan for the exhibit from the National Park Service Springfield Armory National Historic Site that has loaned them to us to put them on display here.
So this is a serious commitment by the Savage and Colt when you're making these to tool to make the design and to make 200 or so of these firearms.
Absolutely. And it's a grueling trial. Over the course of 12 hours, they're going to fire these guns 6,000 rounds through them. After each 100-round interval, they have a 5-minute cooling off period. After each 1,000-round interval, they get a nice good cleaning. And for the first 1,000 rounds or so, they both function flawlessly. Things are looking good for Savage. Things are looking good for Colt. But it's after that 1,000-round mark that things literally start to fall apart for Savage. And it's not going so well. There's a lot of breakages, and pieces aren't they're just not acting right, and there's some issues with that gun for the remaining 5,000 rounds. But the Colt, not so much. That chugs along for 6,000 rounds and is impeccable. It performs wonderfully, and the military is very pleased with that gun. And so just a couple weeks later, on March 29th of 1911, the Secretary of War announces that the Colt 1911 in .45 caliber is going to be the new sidearm for the United States military. You know, it's a John Moses Browning design. How do you argue with a man whose middle name is Moses? You know, he's creating quality stuff here. You know.
Yeah, and what a great decision that was.
Absolutely.
What an iconic firearm that is for both people in the military and for so many others who have enjoyed that design.
Definitely.
So stepping back a little bit, talking about the trials, would they have test fired this? That just is something that they didn't know was going to happen, or you just literally don't know till you put that many rounds.
They had gone through some other tests, and they'd asked Savage to make some changes here and there and tweak it and this and that. But 6,000 rounds is a substantial test that it had not been through before, and they just didn't know until they had tried it with these. And obviously it didn't turn out so well for them. So.
Well, they were very wise, the folks who tested this, to give it that kind of grueling, because we know what kind of grueling life a lot of these firearms went to, especially during wartime.
Definitely. It has to be willing to withstand 6,000 or more rounds in the heat and the mud and the muck and the dirt and the grime. You know, American military, they're gritty individuals, and if the gun can't handle it, it's no good to us.
Yeah, and how long? That thing was in service for a long time. It's the official, still in service till people use them, own them personally for competition,
absolutely,
for everything.
But decades.
Yeah.
The 1911 was in the holster of the servicemen here in the United States. Wonderful gun.
America's Pistol, really cool stuff. It's just so neat to stare at things. What's that? You said number 4 and number 5?
Number 4 and number 5, and I mentioned that there were breakages and stuff going on with the Savage. So the Savage actually still has some mixed serial number components in there from when they were switching things out from other guns to make it work again.
So cool.
But the Colt, That's serial number 5 through and through. No changes there.
Wow. Okay, that's all I can say about it as well. Okay, how do you come and see these firearms?
These are on display at our America's Pistol exhibit opening up this summer 2015 in the NRA National Firearms Museum here at NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. You can also find us online at nramuseums.com and social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube. We're all over it. We've got you covered whether it's in person or online. So there's no excuse to not come check out these wonderful exhibits.
Logan, thanks for these great segments. Thanks for being here on NRA News on Curator's Corner.
Thanks for having me, John.